Have you ever wondered why the price of your morning coffee or the gas for your car seems to have a mind of its own? Well, we're going to pull back the curtain on the economy and look at one of its most powerful ideas: demand. It's this hidden force that kind of explains why everything costs what it does. You know how it is, right? One week, gas prices are up, the next they're down. The cost of your favorite snack seems to change all the time. It feels totally random, doesn't it? But here's the thing, it's not. There are these invisible forces at play. And today, we're going to make them visible. So we throw this word around all the time, right? Demand. Oh, there's high demand for the new iPhone, or low demand for winter coats in May. But in the world of economics, demand is a super specific concept, and it's way more than just wanting something. Okay, so here's the key. It all comes down to two little words you see right there: willing and able. For demand to actually be a thing in economics, you gotta have both. Anything less is, well, it's just a daydream, not real economic demand. And this slide just nails it. Look, I am super willing to own a private jet. I mean, who isn't, right? But am I able to afford it? Nope, not even close. So economically speaking, my demand for a private jet is zero. Zilch. A can of soda, though, yeah, I'm both willing and able to buy that. That's what economists call effective demand. It's that magic combination where your desire meets your wallet. Okay, so we've got this effective demand thing down, but how does price mess with it? Well, this leads us to what is pretty much the golden rule of economics. Seriously, this one idea is behind almost every single purchase you've ever made. And honestly, it's just common sense, isn't it? Think about it. Your favorite shoes go on sale. You're way more tempted to grab them. But if movie tickets suddenly double in price, yeah, you're probably staying home. That super simple relationship. Price goes up, buying goes down. That's the law of demand in a nutshell. And this is what that law looks like as a picture. This line, sloping down, that's the famous demand curve. Let's walk through it. So look down here at this low price. At that price, people are happy to buy a lot of this thing, right? We're at point B. Now, let's say the price shoots way up. See how we slide up the curve to point A? The number of people willing to buy drops way, way down. It's that simple. Higher price, fewer buyers. So why? Why does it always work like this? Well, it pretty much boils down to two big ideas. First, you've got the income effect. Basically, when something gets cheaper, your money has more power. You kind of feel a little bit richer, right? So you can afford to buy more of it. Then there's the substitution effect. This one's easy. If your go-to brand of coffee jacks up the price, you're probably going to look at the cheaper brand right next to it and think, close enough. You substitute it. See? All right, so that's you. That's how one person thinks and behaves. But a company, they don't really care about just one person's decision. They care about everybody's. So now we're going to zoom out from just me to, well, to we. Let's talk about market demand. And you know what? The concept is actually super simple. Market demand is literally just everybody's individual demand all added together. You just take what you'd buy at a certain price, plus what your neighbor would buy, plus what some person across town would buy. You add it all up for everyone in the market. Check out this table. It makes it really clear. So, at a price of 15, one person buys 4 units and another buys 2. So what's the market demand? Simple math, 4 plus 2 is 6. Now, let's say the price drops to 10. All of a sudden, the first person wants 5 and the second wants 8. Add them up and boom, the total market demand jumps to 13. That's all there is to it. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, got it. Price goes down, people buy more, easy. But hold on, because here comes the plot twist. It turns out price isn't the whole story, not even close. There are these other powerful forces that can shake everything up, even when the price doesn't budge one bit. Now listen up, because this slide right here, this is probably the most important takeaway of this whole thing. Seriously. Everything we've talked about so far, that's sliding up and down the line because the price changed, that's called a change in quantity demanded. But when one of those other factors changes, that causes a change in demand. And that's totally different. We're not just moving along the curve anymore. We're picking up the entire curve and moving it to a whole new place. So what are these mysterious shifter variables? Well, they're the stuff of everyday life, really. Things like how much money you make, what's suddenly popular or trendy, the price of other stuff, what you think is going to happen next year, even just how many people are around to buy things. Let's break down a couple of the big ones. Let's start with income. For most things, economists call them normal goods. When you get a raise, you buy more of them. You upgrade your phone, you go out to eat more. The whole demand curve for those things shifts to the right.
But then you have these other things called inferior goods, where the opposite happens. Think about instant noodles. As you start making more money, you probably buy less of that stuff because now you can afford something better. For those, the demand curve actually shifts to the left.
The price of other things makes a huge difference too. First, you have substitutes. Imagine the price of tea just skyrockets. What are a bunch of tea drinkers gonna do? They're gonna switch to coffee. So the demand for coffee goes up. Its whole curve shifts to the right. Then you have complements, things you use together, like tennis rackets and tennis balls. If rackets suddenly get crazy expensive, fewer people are gonna buy them, right? And if fewer people are playing tennis, well, they're not gonna need as many tennis balls. So the demand for tennis balls goes down. Its curve shifts left.
And here you can see exactly what that shift looks like. The whole curve literally hops over from one spot to another. The key thing to see here is that if you pick any price, let's just pick one right here, at that exact same price, people now want to buy way more than they did before. Some outside factor just made this product way more popular all of a sudden.
So, why did we just go through all this? What's the point? Well, once you really get how this stuff works, it's kind of like having a new economic superpower. It genuinely changes how you see the world around you.
From now on, when you see a news story about prices going up or down, you'll actually know what's going on under the hood. You'll understand if it's just a simple price change or a fundamental shift in what people want. You can start to guess what companies will do next, and you'll see those invisible forces moving things around on the store shelves.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. We all know electric cars are getting more and more common, and they are a direct substitute for gas-powered cars. So, using everything we've just learned, what do you predict is going to happen to the demand for gasoline? Which way is that curve going to shift? The cool part is, now you actually have the tools to figure it out. Thanks for tuning in.